That whole thing where it's almost like perfectionism is actually like a self-defense mechanism, and it's actually like you think it means I'm trying to do this perfectly, but it's actually kind of in some way avoiding letting an idea come out, or it's like avoiding, I don't know, stuff getting out into the public, or it's an avoidance mechanism.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And I found this. I really want to come back to your answer to this question, but I'm just going to do a little caveat here first. So, I started my YouTube channel in January, and this was a totally new venture for me, and so many fascinating things have come from it. But I want to talk about two.
Okay.
One is exactly what you were saying, which is that idea of hiding behind perfection. And the brilliant thing about the YouTube channel for me is that...
Incidentally, I'm dropping the link to the YouTube channel in the chat right now, if anyone's not on there.
So basically, making videos takes a huge amount of time, and I put quite a lot of thought into trying to make it not take a huge amount of time. And so I'll decide on an afternoon when I don't have a ton of other projects on that, oh, I'm going to do a video this afternoon, and it has to happen that afternoon. And like from plugging the first light in to hitting upload, that's an afternoon. And if it takes more than that, I can't sort of justify the time to do it. So within that, you make all these micro decisions where it's like, okay, well, was that okay? And is that, I don't know, is that lighting okay? Or is that actually in focus? Or all these things that you do. But my particular boundary is, well, I need to upload it in 4 hours. So like that thing I can't worry about. This thing I probably will. And it's been a really great exercise in not hiding behind perfection. The other thing that I found really fascinating about it is that because I've taken some of these things from songs that I did, you know, at least a year ago, and I'm sort of distilling them into things that I can actually perform in real time, suddenly I'm able to look at things in a way that probably a producer would look at a project when they come into it, like that the artist has been working on for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then a producer comes in and it's like, yeah, well, you know what, I think that's how you want to start this song. That's your intro hook or whatever it is. And you have this perspective that you're not able to have when you've been like really in deep with the project. So I'll take like a multi-track for a song, and I'm like, okay, so what am I going to put on the drum machine? Okay, well that's the important bit, and what am I going to play here, and what's actually the melody, you know, and distilling it into those ideas. And also arrangement wise, it's like, okay, I mean, I love a elongated evolving arrangement, but if you're trying to put it into a hopefully slightly more engaging 3-minute YouTube video, it's like, well, there's nothing in that intro that is interesting right now. So it's like chop, 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 and there you go. You've got it. And I found that process like really, really fascinating. And I'm sure that in doing that will kind of influence the next record that I do, which isn't to say that it's all going to be like 3-minute pop songs, but it's just that awareness of mental attitude when you're given a slightly different set of parameters in which to make something work, you know? But yeah, I definitely find that, I mean, it's just so easy as humans to hide behind excuses for things when they basically come from some form of deep-seated fear. Yeah. Which isn't to say that the fear isn't like legitimate and real, but like part of, you know, I think part of our process and everything is overcoming that in some way. And, you know, just in the little micro world of me putting out records, quite a lot of it is hopefully the ability to like let go of like how many people are ever going to listen to this, and out of those people that listen to it, who are going to like it, and out of the people that like it, how many are going to bother actually buying a record, and out of people that buy a record, how many actually might like write a review on it. And it's so easy to get totally paralyzed by all these like concentric circles of doubt, and then eventually for me at least, you know, I'm always totally inspired by working with people that seem to be completely unaffected by all of those things, and they're just like, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm going to put it out.
Did you used to have like it's fine for Björk because she's Björk, or it's fine for Liam the Prodigy because he's Liam the Prodigy, or it's fine for one of the big name composers you work with because they're them? Like, what did you have to do to actually flip that switch in yourself? Especially, there's so many people on here that we've talked to are like in the process of building up a series of releases, like self-release stuff, or they might have put a couple of tracks out. So we talk a lot about how to build a catalog, how to build a body of work, how to make sure you're focusing on what matters. I think like just the fact that you have found a way to consistently make and release music in the middle of everything else that you've got going on. I don't know if people understand like quite the intensity of like when you're on a film project, and guys, like we can tell you, Matt has been involved with a number of like triple A-list heavy duty blockbuster films. I'll let you choose whether or not you want to name any of them, Matt, because I know you're a bit secret sometimes. You've got, obviously a young family, and you're still managing to make and release your own music through the midst of it. But yeah, I really love what you're saying about like those spirals of doubt that could stop you from even starting something.
Yeah, totally.
And how you flip those switches in yourself.
I think it's for me personally, it's really. I keep saying this, but I do feel so sort of privileged to work with some of these people that I not only really admire, but I'm also sort of fans of their music and have a little insight into their version of that mental process. And so I don't think I've ever really kind of had that thing where I'm like, oh well, Liam Howlett can do that because he's Liam Howlett. But then, like, you don't have to be in a room with Liam for too long to realize that, like, he's not doing stuff because he's Liam Howlett. He's not going, oh, well, I can get away with this because I'm Liam Howlett, which is like the only sort of justified response to like us going, oh, well, he can do that because he's Liam. He's not thinking that. He's just doing it. He's not, or at least my sort of view of it is he's not kind of going, oh, well, is this going to be as good as the last record, or what are people going to think if I put that ride cymbal in mono, or it's just like he just like does it. And it's this like it's on one hand it's self-belief, which I think is a really difficult thing to inspire in people, but on the other hand, and I think this is much easier to inspire in people, it's like it's having an idea and being confident in the idea or the concept, which is a different thing from being confident in yourself. And it obviously helps if you're confident in yourself, but like for me, as someone who is a bit of a like reclusive introvert, I wouldn't describe myself as a super self-confident person, but for me, I find it like it's kind of a interesting deflective strategy to go, yeah, but this idea that I've got is solid and sound, and so I'm going to work on the idea, and then it kind of doesn't matter what people think of me because I'm just working on this concept, and all the things that I'm doing are working towards this concept, and I'm going to put out this record, and the record is about this concept. It's not really about me, it's about an idea that I had. And for me, that's a sort of useful little separation tactic